Welcome back, eSport fans, to the Singapore Esports National Selections. We've got a great winners finals match on this side. From Nara, Japan, maybe, is Nara Esports. And of course, on this side, Singapore's own homegrown team, we've got Team Resurgence. It's going to be a lovely match, and let's take it to our very handsome casters in those spiffy suits. Take it away, guys.
Alright, thank you so much, Tutu, right there for the wonderful opening. My name is Abstract, and with me here is Aris, and we'll be covering for the entirety of today for the Singapore Esports National Selections. Right here, as Tutu has already said, we have Nara, we have Resurgence as well, and they will be competing at the top brackets to make it to the grand finals.
Right, so we saw an exciting match up again, or rather in between EVOS Esports and Bigatron right there. And like I said, unfortunately for Bigatron, lot was just not on their side for the day. And EVOS Esports will proceed into the lower bracket finals, where they will be awaiting the winner of this match between Nara Esports and Resurgence. I believe that both teams are ready, so let's just jump right into the draft while we do a recap of what has happened so far up to now. So in this tournament, we have seen a couple of games that have been pretty exciting throughout. We saw a couple of highlights as well coming in for a couple of teams that have been pretty dominant throughout this tournament. We saw a couple of 2-0s from day number 1, and then as we got nearer to the finals itself, we saw a couple of teams, or not a couple of teams, but in fact all the games started to get a little bit tighter. We saw 2-1 coming in from Resurgence up against Bigatron. We saw 2-1 up against EVOS for Nara Esports. But more importantly, this is the game that most of the teams will be looking at, because I'm sure that EVOS Esports will be scrutinizing these two teams in this lineup. Resurgence up against Nara, both of them have been dominant up to now. I believe Resurgence and both these two teams have had a 2-1 in the semi-finals, and this game itself will be a BO3. So let's just kick off the draft with Resurgence banning out Claude and Diggy, whereas on the side of Nara Esports, they will be taking out the Kaja and the Kimi.
So nothing out of the ordinary. Still do note that whoever loses in this bracket of the best of 3 will then go down to face against EVOS Esports. And if it happens to be Nara that goes down, then we will have another part of Nara versus EVOS happening early in the game again. Like it's something that we have already seen. And I think that is something that everyone will continue and want to see closer and closer to the games.
Right, I was checking out just
it'll be better for the grand finals.
Yeah, I was checking out the comment section below, and a lot of them saying this is just practically a replay of MPL. And we could have a little bit of nostalgia. I think just considering that MPL just ended a couple of weeks ago, and out of top 4, we have these 3 big Singaporean teams, and this is the big 4 of Singapore itself. And we're gonna see Resurgence up against Nara once again. We're gonna see Grog, Krufa, and Leomor on the side of Resurgence, while we have Cho, Lunot, and I think we could see a carry coming in from Nara. The carry is one of those MMs that do really well in the early game in terms of farming, and once she gets that goal lead going, then towards the late game she becomes a monster. The only downside I see to carry is that she needs that protection in the earlier stage of the game, because she doesn't really have much mobility. She has the dash, but other than that, she doesn't really have much movement speed as well. You really need a lot of positioning coming in, as like with most MMs in Mobile Legends. So we're gonna see how Nara play this one out. I assume that we're gonna see perhaps one more tank coming out. If you look over to the side of Resurgence, they have the Grok already in place, so they might have to pick up Arkai. Arkai would be pretty good as well. We'll be able to deal with Aeon and Xian, but looks like they might be able to pick up the Guinevere, which we have left out in the previous game between EVOS Esports and Bigatron. We did not see Guinevere over there. Maybe not really suiting into both teams' meta, but this time around Nara will pick her up.
Perhaps Resurgence side could pick up a Hellcut or Harith, but it does seem like they're going to go for the Hellcut and the God. So you did say something about the fact that God does a lot of tick per damage. So I never really seen the appeal of God, and as you can say as well, Arkai has been picked up for Nara as well. So Is something we do have a double tank setup coming in from Nara as well. I would suppose that Cho is gonna pick up the tank items, and in the meantime for RSG side with the double tank onto Kufra as well as Grok. Loon will be playing as the Hellcat, which is understandable due to the fact that there is a Guinevere in Nara's side. So it's more of a little bit of a counter pick, and in mid side Albi that's playing as the god. They need to satisfy and fulfill the mage role in their lineup.
Right, definitely Archive over here. Just gonna be a good pick, like I mentioned, because if you look at the way that Resurgence are going to play, like I said, they really like that God pickup. And the thing about God is that although he's not that mobile, if he does have enough cover and shield coming in from his tanks, in this case Grok and I guess Krufer does fall into that category as well, then he becomes very, very effective because he doesn't really need to move much throughout the battlefield. He just needs to be protected and he can just do the damage with his ultimate as well. So we're going to see how Resurgence plays this one out. It's very interesting because they pick up the Hellcat, which falls in line with the God pick. Once Hellcat uses Darkness Falls, then God is free to do out this damage without Nara Esports being able to spot their God out. But that aside, looks like we have the upper bracket semi-finals kicked off. Be reminded, this is a best of 3 semi-finals, so we're gonna see how these teams play this one out. Nara up against Resurgence.
We do have a little bit of aggression coming in from Aeon right on the Kolia. Nothing out of the ordinary, but they would definitely want to fall back as killing heroes is not their main objective. But it doesn't seem like it's gonna be the way for XM as he just went straight in for the thump onto Albi to force themselves back just a little bit, making sure that Albi and Aeon does not have the power to get all the experience and gold as much as they want to. So it does seem like Albi and Aeon actually diverted away from their main buff and went down to the bottom side to farm the jungle due to the fact that the rotation coming in from the top is actually going to the buff. So it's a really good communication coming in from Resurgence side from Loon and Ken. In the meantime, getting themselves a little bit of jungle practices, and they are back into their lane to make full use of the experience and gold that Creep have got to offer.
Right, definitely these two teams not as much invasion as I thought we would see, but looks like Forza wants to engage and take away the grab, but it looks like he could be in real trouble.
Aeon and Albi would now join in the fray, but of course Hellcat will get the first blood, but he himself is going to be so low, but Eric playing as a carry will be able to get the kill onto Hellcat as well. Revenge frag coming in. God ends the life of the carry as they both go down the grave dead as a doornail.
Right, this is a good start for Albi right here. He wants to get his first item up as soon as possible. He could get the line more, but we'll have to see for now. Loon over here didn't manage to get a kill, although he will fall for his life. Still in the favor of Resurgence as we see them pick up 2 heroes as compared to Nara's one. But more importantly, this next fight we will see will be the contest for Turtle. Aeon caught out right here. He uses his flash, but I'm not sure. Oh!
Yes, he did manage to erect the stone wall, but was not able to get away from Power of the Chaos Darkening from Lunox. Will then possibly just go for a rotate at the bottom lane, possibly try to go for the first lane turret as well, but Albi and Loon will then stand in their way to be their first obstacle in that defense.
Alright, definitely Loon over here in the mid lane. He's been doing most of the rotation in the Resurgence lineup, given that he's one of the more mobile heroes in the early stages with the speed. Oh, Akai goes in with the speed!
Yeah, with the Hurricane Dance, pushing Albi right to the center of the turtle, but he will not be able to get away as Eric got another kill for himself. Kolia and Forza gets forced in the center of all the fight. Loon as well as Zed, sending with the steed, tries to go for the charge, and unfortunately was not able to do anything with the turtle, and will force Nara to push back themselves, all with lower than 50% HP.
Right, good timing over there. They do sacrifice one member of the team, but in return they pick up 1 kill, and not only that, more importantly, they do manage to pick up the turtle, and this will give them the goal lead that they need to become more aggressive as they go. Oh, and misses over there Loot, but more importantly, Foresight comes right in with the kick.
And of course, the Wind of the Dragon is definitely going to be another arrow in the quiver when it comes to beating up the top lane turret. Ken is going to be the only one remaining to defend the turret. It's a 1 versus 3, and there's absolutely no way that he will be able to accomplish that feat.
Definitely, and not only that, this looks like they might be
goes
going for
in.
more.
Power of the Chaos Darkness just absolutely enveloping Ken, and Kufra goes straight down, and with beautiful arrow coming in from Loon. All of the tail just landed on the unfortunate Fenrir. Down he goes. He's gonna be left with Eric and Eric and Kolia. Now they have to slowly make their way and farm up as much as possible. In the meantime, Xian back in the middle lane. Not too sure exactly how this farm is going. Let's take a look. 2,000 gold.
Right, I really like the itemizations coming up from both teams as of now. You can see most of them already heading towards that second or that first major item. I think once Albi gets that first... Oh, speaking of Albi...
Hurricane Dance right on Albi once again. Always target of practice for Kolya. Unfortunate, really unfortunate for Albi.
I mean, he tried to use his ultimate right there, but just not enough damage. Oh, Ken might catch him out right here. Kolya in a little bit of trouble.
Definitely deals the damage onto Arkai. Definitely gets the kill as well. But we do have Fenrir and Eric just around the corner. They should not compromise the positioning, or rather shouldn't be complacent and try to get the kill onto Ken.
Right, Kolya over there playing with fire, and he tried to TP out of time. Unfortunately for him, it is Ken that will spot him out before the TP manages to complete in time. But more importantly, in the bot lane, we do see that Xian is starting to push onto this bottom lane really aggressively. They do manage to pick up the bottom tower, and this next team fight will decide who gets the second turtle as well. Aeon over here got to babysit mid lane alongside Obi. We do see a couple support at the top lane. Oh, we could see a gang coming in.
It's gonna be a jump coming in from Ken, but the turret will go down before Kufra even landed a hand onto Eric. Aeon goes in for the spin, untimed, unfortunately. Loon Dark Knight falls right on the Forza. Beautiful erection of the stone wall, but the flicker coming from Forza will be able to put himself right in front of the turret, and he will be safe and sound. But not for RSG though, as Fenrir goes straight in, breaks into the light barrier with power of the Order. Brilliance! But Violet Requiem coming from XM will be able to nick and neck right onto Grok as he goes straight down, as Albi forces his ultimate right from the back lines, trying to get a kill on the Kolya, but he will get a 1000 pounder out of all of that action.
Right, Nara Esports over here taking an aggressive position as they try to gank onto that 3-man rotation command Resurgence. A good follow-up from the blue side as we see Xian coming in for the support. And that fight was pretty neck and neck. Like, both sides didn't really get a clear advantage over here, and so both teams definitely will not go for the turtle. Another team fight will definitely decide that, but for now, looks like Aeon going to go to the mid, apply a little bit of pressure for the rest of his teams, as you see Xian and Albi once again in that 3-man. They're kind of like moving like a unit, and like I said, this is why I like the way Resurgence are playing. They really like the 3-man rotation, making sure that both of the side laners have that space and time to farm out their items, while those 3 apply pressure across the entirety of the map. We kind of see Nara Esports doing the same, but they're just not as mobile as Resurgence at this point of time, which kind of proves the point. I'll be getting the easy kill at the bot lane, and they should be able to secure this bot tower, but there's no creeps right yet, so they just could buy some time. Athena shield already up onto Chao, so this could make him a little bit tankier, but look at the damage coming in from Lunox. Aeon, he's trying to tank through all of these shots coming in from Fenrir, but more importantly, Loon goes in!
The Dark Knight falls right onto Lunox. He's unable to get himself away from that danger, and all of the tails just joined and connected right onto Lunox. Absolutely no way that he can do. But I would like to point out at the bottom side where Guinevere was actually picked off by Kufra. Kufra's positioning was absolutely good. The bouncing ball definitely made sure that Guinevere is not able to get the thumb or even the spatial migration away, as he will be CC'd up in the air if she attempts to do that. So either way or other, she is dead the moment Kufra actually caught up to her.
Right, look at the pressure coming in from Resurgence over here. They're not stepping out from gear number 2, and it looks like we could go into third phase really soon, where we see Resurgence start to go for those heavy objectives. Look at Aeon, he has the Athena shield, he's just not worried about anyone who's in the front line, but he has to be a little bit careful. Eric X does physical damage, and not only that, Carry can take quite a bit of HP away from tanks if he is not careful enough. Aeon here starting the front line, he's making sure his passive is take up right, he does a little bit of damage with the speed. Wild charge going in!
There's absolutely no way that he can get himself away from all of that, and Steed is just going to be summoned, and of course the ultimate, of course the light barrier is just going to be activated as well. Fenrir will be able to be in a really good spot, but Xian, he does have his Steed. He wants to go for the in-close damage, but there is a turret that's standing in between of him, Eric, and Fenrir. There's no way that they can follow up from all of that action, so they managed to conclude all of that fight with a kill on Forza as well as XM.
Right, Nara Esports have to be careful over there. They were saved by the bell coming in from Archive as well. If Resurgence finds another opportunity where the heroes of Nara Esports will just line up in one single target, then it kind of lines up that shot for God to really do all the damage that he wants. We saw an instance about how much damage per tick that God can do right over there. I believe it's 140% skill line coming in from God's ultimate as well, so that's quite a bit of damage coming in from that bursty mage. But we will see how that deals as Aeon goes on the top lane once again, throwing his face, making his presence known to the members of Nara Esports. He's trying to draw all the attention to top lane, while the rest of Resurgence try to push on this mid. Hopefully Nara does spot him out. They're spreading their forces quite evenly as well. Grenadier still trying to farm out as much as possible. We haven't seen much coming in from XM. He's trying to farm out as much as possible before he becomes more effective in those team fights, and I'm pretty sure they're looking to do so. Lord is up right now. We are in the 9th minute mark, and we kind of see Aeon right here once again being a pain in Nara's neck as he makes his presence known in the opponent jungle. Kolya in a position to use Hurricane Dance, but he gets knocked out by Sin.
But he still used the Hurricane Dance anyways to get himself out of danger, and even the Earth Wall could not stop him right on his tracks. XM completely missing her thumb, was not able to push Aeon right in the front, and of course the Wild Charge will be activated from Aeon. With the Earth Wall barricading him in between of Eric, he will be able to get a safe passageway away and to his friendly teammates of RSG.
Right, well that was happening. Helka did manage to secure the Lord, and look at that, the 4-man getting up onto Resurgence. I'm not sure if they want to do that. Kolya, if he comes in with appropriate timing and takes a good Hurricane Dance, then that could spell for trouble for the side of Resurgence. Nara Esports here, they know that the Lord is on the side of Resurgence, and you can see they're trying to push the waves out as fast as possible so that Resurgence can't do a split push when the Lord does arrive. Coming on down onto the bottom lane, this is where the Lord will be pushing. You can see Grok already going out the top lane to push away that wave so that they can do this sort of trifecta, or rather tri-lane push coming in from the blue side. Loon, Albi and Xian setting themselves up in the middle. They have to be careful of God. He has one of the shortest ultimate that we have in Mobile Legends, especially for Mage that does so much damage. You want to stay out of sight, and he managed to catch him out, but will he get it?
Violet Requiem around the Kufra before he can even do anything at all. Loon and Xian, they are behind the enemy lines, and of course Lormont is just gonna get a kill right on top of everyone before he can even say Jack Robinson, and Aeon right in the middle of 3-man, but the Fenrir just completely melts him down with power of the Chaos Darkening, and it's just gonna be left with Albi all alone to defend, or rather to support the Lord, and there is absolutely no way that he can accomplish any of that. They are completely gonna miss the boat, not being able to get the first turret. He's not gonna get
he might be getting a kill
at all. But Lunox almost dying, but breaks in the light barrier with the power of Order Brilliance, and Albi missed another boat.
Oh, I'll be right there. He nearly managed to get the kill onto that Lunox, but more importantly, it looks like Kolya wants to go for him. The flash coming in for Albi as well.
But the
He's trying to
sprint
stick to the wall.
But the sprint still. The Hurricane Dance is going to be ensured right onto Albi, and that is going to be the 3rd time that we see that Albi just get locked into CC. Ulti is not going to do anything for Albi, and that is going to be a staggered death coming from RSG side. Really, really unfortunate. I wouldn't say that anything that Albi did was wrong, but it is really unfortunate that Kolya does have a sprint and just running neck and neck against Albi.
Right, definitely. It was just desperation ultimate coming in from God as well. Nothing that he could have really done. And like I said, that's kind of like the negative of God. As much damage as he has, and that CC is good. He doesn't really have the movement. Oh!
Kolya doesn't have the Hurricane Dance actually, does he? No. Yeah, he does have Hurricane Dance, but he's not going to waste Hurricane Dance and lock down Aeon like that. In the meantime, at the top lane, we do have XM. This is going to be on a fight against Xian, but the Steed and Leomon himself is just way too much damage. It's not a man to be trifled with, and XM finds himself in trouble, fishing in troubled waters.
Right, definitely Resurgence over here, getting the games resetted time and time again from Nara Esports. They're doing a good job at holding Resurgence at bay, making sure that there's no way that the blue team can take it, or rather put it that way, to the tier 3 tower. But Kolya cut off position for a little bit. Darkness Force will land. Oh, that's a good wall coming in!
Excellency coming in from RSG side. All 5 of them still remains, and Aeon pushes right into the tower of the entire base of Nara. With the ultimate coming from Albi, dishing out in damage in drips and drabs right onto Forza. HP is low, but Grok was not able to secure the final kill right onto Forza, and RSG in turn got melted down, and they have to fall back from now.
Right, that was a good dodge coming from Grenadier as well, but it looks like Forza doesn't want to give this up. He flickers in, and he does manage to get the hit up.
Way of the Dragon absolutely decimating Albi once again. Despite the fact that Albi does a lot of damage, he is extremely fragile, and he will just get melted down by almost anything and everything in the opponent's side. And this is where Nara will come in, and that kill coming, or rather that initiation or that fight, is just the ticket for Nara to slowly reclaim themselves the map control and even get the Lord.
Right, Albi already used his Mystic projection onto Guinevere right there. Unfortunately, so he didn't really have that when Forza came in with the Dragon Kicks. But we do see XM here playing with fire, tries to go for the creep, but CM will ensure that that goes under his belt. Lord, like you said, is available for the taking. This is the second Lord, and I'm sure that both of these teams don't want to give it over to their opponents. But you can see kind of a speed push meta coming in. Rock showing his face up there, and Guinevere goes in.
Amazing thump coming in from XM. It actually managed to scout him out, and Kufra immediately get locked down in Violet Requiem. There's absolutely nothing that you could do. No way that he could sidestep that, and that is another staggered death coming from RSG. The sad thing for RSG is that they have been killed off one by one in the most unjust timings, and this is going to be one of the timing that I'm going to say. I'll be completely zoned out by Hurricane Dance, but it does seem like Lune Ancient as well as Aeon is actually there to completely punish him, and Grok goes straight in, gets a kill on XM, but Carry is definitely not a woman to be tried for the whip. Goes in, a lot of spinning light wheels right on the Grok. Absolutely no way. With the way of the dragon from Forza, Rhino Steel charges out the momentum to get that barrier. That actually managed to help him stay alive. An amazing clutch plays coming in from Xian.
How did Xian stay alive throughout the team fight? He was just down to a tick of health. I thought Lunox could have gotten the kill right there, but more importantly, it looks like Nara will start up a lot, and Ken is just lingering around. He has the support of Albi. I'm sure his Mystic Gush is already up on cooldown, but he has to be careful. Forza goes right in. They managed to take out the Lunox.
And the Lord will then be safe, or rather the level 2 Lord will not be tackled down by Nara, and the gold deficit is looking pretty okay now.
Right, 30 seconds before we see the Lunox up onto the battlefield again. Nara without that important mage. What will Resurgence do with that one-man advantage? I mean, it is not advisable to start the Lord right now, because by the time Lord runs out to half HP, Lunox will already be out, and we will see the full lineup of Nara going to contest for this second Lord. So Resurgence making a good call right there. You know what? We don't have to rush this Lord. We'll see how Nara makes. You can see the amount of respect that both teams are playing to one another at this stage of the game. They cannot afford to lose another team fight. Granted, they can lose 1 or 2 members in a couple of pickoffs, but as long as they do not lose too many more members in the earlier stages of that team fight, then they still have a good chance of picking up. See, I'm gonna spot up Forza right there in that tiny bush between that mid lane and that Lord. Gonna push him back for a while. You have to be careful, because Forza is one of the key CCs that's available to the side of Nara Esports. If they lose that child, then that could be a problem. Collier as well, another member who has been a pain in Resurgence throat, I would say, going for God time and time again, and Albi has been doing a good job at making sure he doesn't get caught up. But Forza goes right in, he catches Albi.
Albi completely out of position, but in comes Ken and Xian. Will be able to provide him sufficient backup. But Eric deals a bit of damage on the Xian actually in Drinks and Trap, but the Hurricane Dance is just going to push Xian as well as Ken away from Albi. He even went for the ultimate, but Albi would not be able to stay alive. Eric neck and neck against Xian, but it is a one-sided fight coming in here with the double kill onto Eric. Gonna join in the fray. We still have Ken. He does have immortality. Grok is further ahead, and there is absolutely no way that Nara is going to lose a single man from this point on and forth.
Oh, it's just really bad team fight coming in from Resurgence. Aeon wasn't with the rest of the team. There's just no way they could have taken the fight to Nara Esports, and you can see now Aeon has to go back to base. If not, it looks like Nara is going for the backdoor. They have one creep over there, which will mean they will be able to break into base, and there's just no way that the cooldown timer will come in time. It looks like Nara Esports have this game won in hand.
And just like that, match 1 of today's game number 12 has elapsed, with Nara Esports coming into victory against Resurgence. Do note that this is a best of 3 rounds, so do not fret, we still have more games to go, and hopefully RSG will be able to redeem themselves against Nara Esports.
Right, that team fight was just really fragmented for Aeon and team right there. I'm not exactly sure why Resurgence thought they could have taken the fight, but it was more of the good positioning coming in from Nara Esports. They managed to spot out Albi, not really protected by Grok as well, who was just busy pushing up the top lane. If you want to do a split push, then you can't really show the face of the mage on the side of the map. The moment that we saw Archive manage to land onto God, then there wasn't really much that the rest of the team could do. They did their best to try to keep RB alive as long as he did. But even before that Mystic Gush came out, which is God's ultimate, they managed to bring him down, and without that, that's a major amount of damage output taken away from Resurgence. Look at the replay over here. Resurgence was just leading all the way from front, or rather from the get-go. They were just doing so much good rotations over here. They did manage to pick up a couple of kills in the early stages of the game. Nara Esports over there gets the return kill onto Grub, but that was just a small price to pay. And a couple of objectives going Nara Esports' way, you know, both teams going back to back. We see this mini engagement over here, or the first major team fight that we see coming up for both sides. And I believe it is the first turtle going away with Resurgence with the spin coming in from Grog. Look at that, throughout the whole team fight, Grog wasn't with his team because we see Sian and Loon just trying their best to keep Albi alive. So they were kind of, you know, doing the protector role, if I'll put it that way, as Albi tries to line up his Mystic Gush. Here we see Ken getting caught out by the side of Nara Esports, but good return engagement coming in. Loon trying to deal as much damage onto Forza as much as possible. But when you're dealing with a child, it's never as straightforward as it is. Resurgence doing their best to try to make it as even as possible. But then again, we're just waiting for the next team fight to appear, which we see up in top lane. And it was kind of iffy, like both teams were not able to make it even, or rather, they were able to make it even throughout every single team fight. Like both sides were not able to make it a tournament. We see Albi here lining up that Mystic Gush. Unfortunately, we see Nara Esports with their high mobility heroes being able to get out of the way. Light of the order available for Fenrir as well. And he positioned himself really smartly at the back line, making sure that there's no way that Resurgence can get onto him. We see Albi here doing a ton of damage into Forza, and Aeon going to spin to clean up the rest of the fight as well. And you see, every time Resurgence has that major team fight in their way, it's always Aeon who's leading the charge. They always have that Grog at the front. Here's just an unfortunate moment for Albi as he gets caught out by 3 members of Nara. But I believe the next team fight that happens really majorly and it gets the advantage for Nara Esports is here, right here. We see them picking out Kolya, right? And so for a moment you think, okay, you know what, Resurgence have this under control, and they dive in really deeply. They're not able to take a kill away from Forza. They focus too much on the Chow. Mystic Gush comes out, but not being able to secure the kill means that, look at Eric X, there's no one going onto him, and he just stretched through Aeon. There's just no way that, you know, Resurgence can come back from that fall. They catch out Albi once again, and it looks like Nara Esports find a winning condition for them. They have to take out Albi before the team fight appears, because if Mystic Gush lands onto either XMXM or that carry, then there's just no way that Nara Esports can win. So you see Albi just getting caught up by Kolya once again. They do not manage to pick up the kill, but that's just a winning factor for Nara Esports. If they can take out God fast enough, then there's not much of a threat on the side of Resurgence. Granted, they have that, you know, Halkert, they do have the Leomord as well, but Halkert isn't the tankiest of heroes, and Leomord can't really do much if there's no follow-up coming from the side of Resurgence. Look at that, look at the God's positioning over there. He's in the opponent's jungle while the whole team fight was happening, so they don't really have someone in the front pilling for them. They don't really have someone who's, you know, being the barrier in between the God and the rest of Nara Esports. And by the time that, you know, we see Aeon trying to rejoin the team fight, we already have 3 members of Resurgence already falling. So that's kind of how Nara Esports managed to pick game 1 away. Hopefully we will see a change of situation for Resurgence and they will have better positioning next time round. But the draft wise, both sides were pretty even. I believe it's just a misplay coming out from Resurgence. They were doing so well from the start of the game. Just one misplay. I'm not sure whether or not we will see a difference in draft, because that was just a pretty good draft coming from Resurgence. It's just that one small team fight, or rather that major team fight that didn't have Aeon in it, that caused Resurgence to lose it all.
Honestly, I feel that the MVP gotta go to Kolya. As Arkai definitely created a lot of space for the entire team. His Hurricane Dance is just literally all around the place. You can see him displacing Albi most of the time, and there are times that he actually uses his Hurricane Dance to actually push the other people away, just so that they can focus down on just one solo person. So I wouldn't be surprised to see RSG, out of respect, ban the Arkai.
Right, it looks like we're gonna see Resurgence on the blue side once again, and our esports gonna be on the red side. I believe they will be swapping as well, so I'm not exactly sure if we're gonna see a remake, but like you mentioned, they might be banning out the Archive.
Your team
looks like we're gonna see Nara Esports. They're gonna settle for the red side, so they definitely want to go for the counter pick. They will take out Kimi out of the hero pool, while RSG gonna take out Claude FD as well. So pretty similar to the first for the first game's ban, we see all four pretty much the same bans we see coming in for the first game. Kaja, Kimi, Claude, and Diggy. Gonna be the first pick for Resurgence once again, so pretty similar draft we see coming in from game number 1.
It looks like the first pick on the Grok is pretty normal, but of course Lunox as well as Cho is up on the pool. They chose they chose Grok other than Lunox, which is what they did in the previous game, if I am not wrong. But anyways, so having a Lunox and a Cho in your team definitely means devastation. We do have the CC Master coming in from Cho, the CC Master that happens to be extremely flexible at the same time. You can be a fighter, you can be a tank, anything can happen for Cho. As for XM, versatility everywhere. You do have damage, you do have Light Bearer that actually does have survivability as well. The slow coming in from Cosmic Vision, so many things you can do as a Lunox. That's why you have so many abilities. Coming in from RSG side, we have more picks coming in, and that is going to be a Leomord as well as a Guinevere. We have the last pick coming from Nara Esports, and that is going to be Carry. Carry once again.
Right,
Carry.
so far the only difference that we've been seeing in the draft is that RSG is going to pick up the Guinevere instead of getting it banned. We're going to see how could get it banned out this time round. In return, Nara is going to take away the Angela. So it's kind of a target ban coming in. They don't really want the support onto Guinevere, who's able to dive on the back line. And if you couple that alongside with Angela, then she becomes quite a bit of an issue to really deal with. Because Guinevere by her own is already quite tanky. Like, she can really take away not only the barrier, but she's able to withstand a lot of damage coming in from Nara as well. So if you take out the Angela, then there's not much, or rather there's no single hyper protector coming in from Resurgence. Oh, looks like they might be able to pick up the...
Oh, are they going to go for the MM? Okay, the thing is Claude has already, did not manage to slip out of the bans, so Claude is down. We have Arkai and God again. The thing is, now RSG does have the Arkai. They are not going to surrender the Arkai away to Nara. They want to go for the God game again.
Right, I mean, God was one of the winning factors that they had in the game. They were just not being able to pull that off in the last engagement because there was just no protector around. Like I said, the draft wasn't the reason why they lost. The reason why they lost was because God wasn't in that team fight. If we switched things around and God was in, then we could have seen a different outcome coming in from Resurgence. That being said, they are quite comfortable in their respective roles. We will see Aeon playing that Grok again, Loon playing on the Leomord, and he did really brilliantly. Like, he was one of the major damage output for Resurgence as well, alongside the God in most of the team fights. Hellcat was kind of more like a distraction. They used him really well for his ultimate as well, but Hellcat is a single damage hero, so they might want to take up a lot more AoE damage this time round in the game, but take us away with this lineup.
Alright, so we do have Xian that's going to be playing as Guinevere, Ken onto Arkai, Lun onto Leomord, Aeon playing as Grok, and Albi again onto the Grok. We'll like to see exactly how he's going to pull that off. Now we do have Eric that's going to be playing on Thamus, XM on the carry, Fenrir onto Lunox, Colia on the Minotaur this time, and Forza back onto Cho. Now, the thing about God is, I understand that Mystic Gush does a lot of damage, but of course, on a supplementary, Mystic Gush disorientates the entire team fight against Nara, and I think that is exactly what RSG wants. They will not make Nara come together for an absolute team fight, and especially for the Minoan Fury. They do not want to have Colia go in for Minoan Fury and then everyone just comes crashing in together, because that is when Albi have a lot of potential, dealing damage with Mystic Gush and dispositioning everyone in the entirety of the team fight.
Fun note though, this is the first time we will not see Krufra getting picked up or banned either, so
it's become 99%.
Pretty much, but here we see a team fight coming in, or not a team fight, but a small engagement coming in. Forza will be the first one to fall.
But is it worth it? Because we do have the mid lane that's rotating right to the bottom side, and Guinevere will take the fall. And it's just gonna be left with Ken at the bottom lane, coming to level 2 real soon. But that was a really good rotation coming in from Nara just to balance out the kills as they lost Forza.
Right, good rotation coming in from Nara Esports as well to make sure that they do pick up the return queue coming from Guinevere. And that's what you get as a experienced mage in the middle, is that you have to notice that, you know, there's a team fight happening bottom lane. I have to give up the lane in order to pick up the team fight right there. At the top, pretty standard rotation coming in from Aeon and Albi. Looks like we're going to see this 3-man rotation once again. I do believe Leomon is going to clear up his quick wave while Aeon makes his way to bot. You can see how quickly Aeon is moving throughout the map. That's one of the things that you get when you're playing with Grok, is that his passive is just insane. At the early stages, he's one of the strongest passive, and CC, if you think about it, with that stone wall and that extra increased movement speed that we see from Aeon. Look at that, there's just no way he's going to be able to catch up to them, and that's with Aeon not being able to complete his first goods as well. Do they know that Forza is just hiding there? Oh, trouble for Forza.
And with that said, it wasn't able to do quite much due to the fact that he does not have Wave of Dragon. The only thing that he have is Shumpo as well as Jikundo. XM does have an ultimate, but I don't think that is going to mean quite much right now. And looks like the wild charge coming from Aeon would be able to deal so much damage right on the XM, and that will have to push him all the way back home. Or maybe, just maybe, try to take the turtle at that.
Right, looks like they want to start the turtle, but they have the Minotaur just nearby. Digi already getting banned out by Resurgence, so they can't throw the Minotaur into the hands of Nara Esports. Not sure how they're going to deal with that Minori's Fury in the later stages of the game. But for now, it looks like both Nara Esports and Resurgence are doing pretty well, pretty neck to neck in terms of goal lead. 200 is just a small gap that can be covered with a single team fight, which it looks like Resurgence note that Nara Esports are starting to turtle up. Looks like Nara is going to leash this turtle towards their advantage. Kolya is just standing by, making sure that the aggression goes back into Resurgence. Xian getting caught out in the bottom lane.
Looks like the Valor Requiem will not connect as Forza. I believe that was actually a Purify? No, it didn't. But anyways, the Tom did not connect on the Forza, and for some reason Forza actually managed to get a kill right onto Xian before she managed to unleash her Violet Requiem. We do have Eric going in for the Quadrant Inferno, and right in the middle of everywhere, Ken goes in for the Hurricane Dance, pushing Kolya as well as Eric away from the turtle, but they are not going to go for the turtle. They have to focus on the heroes. Aeon goes down, and it is going to be an entirety of Nara Esports getting 2 kills on Aeon and Ken. Loon, Xian and Albi will have to force themselves back and surrender the turtle.
Once again, Nara Esports sticking as a unit, and this just puts Resurgence in the back foot, because if you don't have all of your team members together, definitely, I mean, numbers do count and MOBAs as well, but more importantly, there's no way that, Albi can get the setup that he needs in order to let his Mystic gush. And if that's the case, then you're gonna be seeing the bulk of the damage coming in from one of your, most painful mages across the board. We're gonna see how Resurgence deal with that towards the later stages of the game, but for now, it looks like Nara Esports have finally gotten some sort of lead with that turtle take, and more importantly, getting 3 kills onto Resurgence lineup.
So right now we do have Nara that is extremely intimidating. They have quite a map control against RSG side. We do have Kolya that's just all the way in the face of Albi. In the meantime, at the top lane, it does seem like our Thamus was able to get a kill right onto Leomon. A really bad start for Leomon, I would say. Ken in the meantime with the Hurricane Dance, and that is the Mystic Gush that we would like to see coming in from Albi. Getting the kill on the Forza, that is a 1-for-1. Just trading it off just a little bit, but in the meantime, Aeon taking the front lines, tanks a little bit of a damage onto XM as well as Fenrir. The thing is, we would want to focus a lot of attention on the Fenrir as she unleashes power of the Chaos Darkness. Kolya jumps straight in with a Hoof Storm. Maybe we might be able to see a Minoan Fury anytime soon, but the thing is, Ken Albi as well as Xian is way too far. He's soaking up too much damage, but looks like Carry will be able to get that turret down just right on time. Aeon joins in the fray. XM is just going to be launched right in the air. Violet Requiem not going to be able to do much, but Kolya tries to get himself away just in the nick of time. Breaks through the light barrier. The Lunas is going to do, and he will be getting the kill right on the Guinevere just right on time. But Loon just joins straight in, his HP is down, but looks like the Hoof Storm coming in from Loon will be able to get a really good damage down right onto Lunox. We're going to be left with Forza, the first man down in the previous engagement, and he joins in the fray to try to push things away from Albi as well as Loon.
Right, well, that was happening. Eric X was just one happy Tamus farming the top lane, and this is what you get when you have a Tamus in your lineup, is that you're not going to see him in most of the team fights in the early stages of the tournament, or rather the game itself, because he's just busy trying to farm as much as possible. And once he gets his second item, this is where he becomes a monster. He gets a lot of lifesteal, he gets a lot of sustain, and there's just no way that you can focus on Tamus, because you have to worry about the Lunox, you have to worry about the carry, and then you have a Tamus who has certain, or a high level of regeneration on his kit. So there's just so many members across the board for Nara Esports. They can do a decent amount of damage, but at the same time, Resurgence have that god. If they do line up in a bad position, then one Mystic Gush is all it takes to bring Nara Esports down. We have seen a couple of good gushes coming in from Albi, and hopefully they will be able to do a bit more. Nara Esports, they will have to give them credit for being able to deal with team fights in a 4v5 situation. Remind you, Tamus hasn't been in a team fight yet, so I'm interested to see how this one will pan out. Eric X here, gonna put a little bit of pressure in the mid lane.
Whoa,
And look how fast he is bringing Aeon's HP down. Good Stonewall, but no trap available for the side of Resurgence.
For Eric, even though he does have Cauldron Inferno and the sustainability from all of his skills, I don't think that he will be able to withstand the Mystic Gush. And in the meantime, at the bottom lane, Grog will be able to get a kill round the Minotaur, and we do have Kanjan's gonna do 1,000 Storm right into the enemy lines, and he will go down. Nara Esports find the opportunity and definitely the ticket for them to actually push the middle lane turret down, and they are left naked for RSG side. The only turret that they have left is in the inhibitor tower inside of the base, and that is the main priority for RSG side to defend.
Right, definitely Lunox there doing bulk of the damage, but that's what we see when the Tamus joins the battle. You see a pillar in the middle of the Lunox and the lineup of RSG, so there's no way they can jump past the Tamus to get into the backline, because they kind of risk Tamus pincering them in between this lineup. And not only that, Forza is doing a good job at keeping the front line of Resurgence away from those sneaky heroes such as XM on this carry.
Perhaps, or maybe not. The thing is, Eric does already have the Bloodlust Axe and the Wings of Apocalypse Queen. He's going to have so much sustainability, and just like that, wipes Guinevere out of the face of this earth. And of course, the Chaos Assault coming in from Lunas will be able to get a kill. Random Leomon just going to go straight in. Eric X just having so much sustainability as well as mobility. He was almost able to caught up to Aeon, but Albi with the stun will be able to stop him right in the tracks. But Ken is still inside of the fray. Lunas finishes him off, and that is 3 man down for RSG. Nara Esports looking extremely well with 7-12 with an advantage of about 5,000 gold.
Right, they're piling the pressure onto Resurgence right here. This is crunch time for the blue side as we see Aeon trying to clear the creep as much. He's making use of his passive as well to make sure that he doesn't get stunned up by Chow. There's just no way that these two teams can lose their front line as of now. Aeon walking into the creep. He does spot out Eric X, but look, imagine how fast Eric X can stretch through this. Aeon is just paying respect as well. Just gonna use the Stonewall. Oh, but look at top lane. Loon bursts out half HP.
And just like that, Loon actually managed to get the kill right onto Lunox. Amazing kill. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the ticket for them to actually push all the way and try to reclaim their throne against Nara Esports. Now they have a little bit more of the map control against Nara now that the pesky Lunox is no longer around, but the CC King coming from Nara Esports is still around. Minotaur right here was not able to get thumped up into the air, but he's able to get his stomp out of the way. Cho still somewhere in the middle lane. He's still alive and extremely lively. I wouldn't say that he's going to be picked up anytime soon. The earth wall is not going to trap him just yet. But Aeon slowly baiting him and clawing from behind. The Way of the Dragon from Forza is not going to be secured onto Albi just yet. But the Way of the Dragon is going to be put on Aeon. And in the end, Albi will still go down. Eric is just going to completely decimate the entirety of the opponent's side. Cauldron Inferno just going to make sure that he has a lot of sustainability. Drawing out his size, giving him a little bit of movement speed, even momentum. Gonna be activated by Loon to make sure that he survived from all of that engagement. 5 versus 3 right now. 14 seconds countdown onto Sion and 8 seconds countdown onto Albi. They have to wait for quite some time before Mystic Gush comes out. But in the end, Leomon was able to pick the Minotaur off with 27 seconds down on the road. Hurricane dance on the can, right on the fender. Pesky Lunox is down once again. Gonna be left with Forza and the XM. They have to get themselves back unless they want to go to play in the kiting game against Aeon.
Right, Minotaur over here with that motivation roar that kind of healed up the rest of Nara Esports, and that's the kind of sustain that they have with Minotaur in your lineup. So Nara Esports just making use of the sustain they have across the board to make sure that none of their members are in trouble. See, getting knocked up right here. Looks like we're gonna see another team fight.
The way of the dragon is definitely going to put him in a really good place. Aeon is low in HP, and in the meantime, Ari X, even though his HP is low, he will be able to get the Economy Inferno up. In the meantime, Forza will be able to get himself away just in a nick of time. Aeon pushing himself back, but Eric will be able to come in. He have to throw his size as much as possible to get himself that movement speed. In the end, the size will be able to get the kill right on top of Grok. And this is where Nara Esports pushes in, and in drips and drabs, slowly getting the damage right onto the Lord, and just the map control making sure that Resurgence is not able to push up onto the Lord.
Alright, RSG is getting their
Level
backs
1
pushed
Lord.
up, as well as we see Nara Esports going for the Lord. And you mentioned a little bit about how, you know, Nara Esports have very good positioning, and I kind of agree on that. You can see that in most of the team fights, they have the Tamus from the line where we did not see him in the previous team fights. I did mention that he's going to be an issue, and he's proving to be a nuisance to RSG right now. We see the Tamus with such a high level of regeneration. They can't bring him down fast enough with Carry and both Lunox dealing so much damage from the backline, and Aeon is just having so much trouble and it's just to locking one of them down. But here we could see a gang coming in. Eric X walks into a 3-man gang, but he will be able to get out just in time. Forza though, trying to split up that forces coming in from Resurgence as they do a 3-lane push. How will Resurgence deal with this? This is the last chance for that. And it's go time for Resurgence.
The trifecta of the push with the Lord at the bottom, the main team in the middle, and we do have Carry that's rotating over to the top lane at times. A really nice Earth Ward is just going to be erected coming from Aeon, and Kolya jumps in from the side, trying to go for the kill onto Aeon. But the thing is, the Lord is still alive. It is a level 1 Lord, by the way, so they are going to completely ignore the Lord and go for the inhibitor tower in the middle lane. We do have the power of the Chaos Darkness coming in from Fenrir, just locking down on Aeon and absolutely shredding him into bits. And Ken going in for the Hurricane spin, but the Mino in Fury coming in for Kolya will be just in a nick of time and just a ticket for them to turn things around. The Mystic Gush coming from Albi, although deals a lot of damage, they are not able to bring Nara Esports down. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, in 30 seconds in, Nara Esports claim the throne and gets the win against RSG. Moving up the brackets, RSG is going down to fight against EVOS Esports. A rematch coming in, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, well played, but now Esports there. They kept their pressure at an all-time high throughout the entirety of that match. They were just moving like a unit, and like I said, they were already winning fights without the Tamus and the top lane, just busy farming and pushing in the opening stages of this match against Resurgence. And the moment the Tamus came online, you can see in the replay over here, most of the fights you see Tamus and Leomon just on the top lane, busy pushing, and the moment that Leomon dropped his pressure in the top lane, Tamus just went full split push mode. You can see Leomon over here just gonna rotate down to the bottom alongside we've got in order to provide a bit of a reinforcement. And Tamus over here, this is the first team fight we saw him come in, right, at level 5, and Eric X realizes that, you know what, I'm lacking some damage, but I'm still gonna peel a bit for my team. And this is the first major team fight which we see Nara Esports win, and this just opens up the opportunity for them to go for the turtle, which they do manage to do so. Resurgence is gonna back off over there, and after the team fight, look at that, this is the second team fight that we see, right? RSG does manage to get the pick off onto Forza, but more importantly, look at Tamu's positioning. He's not even interested into going to team fights. He's just busy farming the top lane. Once again, another team fight coming in from Resurgence and Nara Esports. But look at that, 4v3. Good Mystic Gush coming in from Resurgence, but look at the backup coming in from Forza. The knockup coming in onto Guinevere. Sam falls down, and now Esports suddenly find themselves in front again. I do believe that Fenrir will fall down here with Albi coming in, and Loon will not be able to get the kill onto Chao. But once Tamus comes online, look at that, look at his positioning of Fenrir and Eric X. They're just standing in between one another, making sure that no one gets caught out. And Fenrir just doing all the damage from Order of the Light from the back as well. And XM here does manage to get away, and this is the killing point. Aeon brings him down. But look at that, so much burst damage coming in from the rest of Nara Esports as Resurgence gets torn apart. Look at Albi's position, there's just no one on him. And Ken falls, and Albi will have to back off from here. And from then on, Nara Esports have the momentum in line. I mean, this is good play coming from Loon to get a kill onto Lunox, but even in a 4v5 situation, Nara Esports kept their crew, kept it calm. They know they can has that Hurricane dance, but they keep themselves away from the annoying Archive, and then they come right in with the Minuan's Fury. There's no Digi to counter that ultimate coming in for Minotaur, and Aeon just gets shredded by Carry as well. So there's just so much counter coming in for Nara Esports and target bans as well. And not only that, Carry just piling so much misery onto the backline of Resurgence. Look at how fast that XM is just trending onto the front line. There's just no way that they can reach the Carry before he brings it down to half health. Aeon once again tries to go with the wild charts, and Albi, there's just so many targets for him to try to target with Mr. Gush. And as a god, the perfect situation for Resurgence is that the 4 members of Nara Esports line up in one line, and they did a good job at making sure that they do not get caught up by Albi, and then converging when they need with Million's Fury, getting that setup that they need in order to re-engage onto Resurgence. Look at that, Aeon getting isolated away from the rest of his teammates. Ken goes in with a good Hurricane dance, but there's just too much burst damage coming from XMX-Men to deal with it. And from then on, Nara Esports got the win that they need, or rather the opening that they need to finish off the game. So well played to both teams, but it is Nara Esports that will be heading into the finals itself. I believe that we have
an interview
right,
yep,
set up for you. So let's just throw it right to them.
Is it on? Oh, there we go. Okay, we've got audio, and we're going to be doing a short little interview with the winning team of that last match. As you saw the replays on that big screen, what do you think was the key in that victory?
Oh, you mean the last game? I think pretty much we actually have a good early game, and then we are leading. Then what we did is actually we just press on the advantage and take our time and lead to victory. Yeah.
You guys obviously have a very advantageous position, winning in the winners final, now into the grand finals. Between the two teams of your next match, who would you prefer to play and why?
We would prefer to fight against EVOS. Yeah, because it will be more exciting. As difficult as they may be, and they are actually the top of the Singaporean team right now. So it will be great to fight them. It's a challenge for us. Because if you want to get the represent Singapore, I believe this is one of the challenges we have to face.
Speaking of representing Singapore, why is your team named after a Japanese city?
Nara was actually named by my boss and his wife name. So it's just taken him and his wife name together and then formed it into Nara.
I think you need to change the eagle into the Nara deer. Last, but probably the most important question. What is for lunch as you guys head off to celebrate your victory and prepare for the next match? What are you guys going to be eating right now?
Hope maybe lunch we would either have RSG or EVOS.
You're going to eat them?
Later. See who's in the finals.
Oh my God. The trash talking is at a tremendous level. Let's go back to our casters.
Wow. Okay,
shots fired.
The lunch was not something I expected, but well said.
Right, so yeah, you pretty much heard he's ready to have lunch, be it Resurgence or EVOS. Shots fired right there. A bit of banter coming in from team captain of Nara Esports. But they put one hell of a game right there, and they showed why they're one of the best teams in Singapore. And like they mentioned, all of these teams in these upper brackets and even now in the lower brackets are top teams in Singapore. So there's going to be posing a lot of challenge, be it EVOS or be it Resurgence with Nara Esports. They're gonna have a tough fight, and fret not, Resurgence fans, they will have one more shot against EVOS in this best of 3 lower brackets final. But before we bring that to you, let's just show the brackets up on screen right here, right now. We see Bicotron Esports going down, or rather losing to EVOS Esports. They managed to win that best of 1 in the losers semi-finals. So they will be headed towards the lower losers finals, where they will be facing Resurgence. It is a best of 3, so whoever wins that match will go back up into the grand finals, where they will face Nara Esports once again. But this time round, it is a best of 5. So it is a test of stamina, it is a test of endurance for not only Nara Esports, but whoever faced them. The good thing, or the advantage that Nara Esports have this time round, is that not only do they get to rest while the bottom brackets are fighting it out, but they also get to, analyze and read the opponents as they play out that lower bracket finals. But before we bring that lower bracket finals to you, we will be going into a break, a lunch break in fact, before that plays out. So first off, a big shout out to Razer, Singtel, PvP Esports, Scene Esports and Armageddon for sponsoring the event, and obviously to our organizers, Eliphant and Singapore Esports Association. You have been watching the Singapore Esports National Selections, and when we are back, we will bring you the more exciting matches to come.